following podcast contains spoilers and words like and We watched a thing. We watched a thing. Hello everybody and welcome to another week of fun here at We Watched a Thing. You got Billy in your ears, you got Dave in your ears. How you doing, mate?
I am good, how are you?
I'm excellent. How you been? I've been crazy busy, actually. Lots and lots of movie watching. I had to binge 5 bloody Tarantino films for a guest spot over on Jason with Binge Movies.
Well, let's face it, you were due. The rest of us watched them years ago.
I know. Of the 5, though, there were 3 that I'd seen. But it gave me an excuse to finally watch Django Unchained and Inglourious Bastards, which Topher had been spewing at me for not having watched. So
yeah, the latter especially.
Yeah,
that was just atrocious.
So it was good to finally tick those off. What about you? You been watching anything good?
Oh, trying to madly get through TV. I've got our required viewing stuff, and I had to finish off Wednesday with the kids, and then my eldest Ayla and I are in the middle of binging through Teen Wolf, and so we went through a bit of that, which was fun, and we started rewatching Legacies again. So great shows. I'm having fun. But
you and your CW teen horror stuff,
Teen Wolf is a fucking great show.
Is it as good as Vampire Diaries?
Ooh. It's better from a horror perspective. It certainly goes a lot darker and more on the horror stakes.
Yeah.
But Vampire Diaries is just tugs on the heartstrings a bit. You know, it's character growth. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Yeah. Did you see the trailer for the new Wolf TV show from the creator of Teen Wolf? I think it is, with Sarah Michelle Gellar in it.
I haven't seen a trailer. I did read because I knew nothing about it, and I did read an article. That said that I think she might even be a producer on it as well.
I think she is, yeah.
So, mildly interested. I'm kind of getting real 90210 Redux vibes off it, though.
I am pumped as hell.
The teenagers are all back as parents.
I know, but you put Buffy in something, and I'm...
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen her in anything since the Crazy Ones, that really good sitcom that she was doing with Robin Williams until he sadly passed. That was a cracker of a show.
Oh, I forgot about that one, but I really liked... She was in a show for a while called Ringer, where she played both herself and her identical twin sister.
She's the sister, and then her sister's died. She take the place?
Yes.
And try and solve the murder. I never watched it.
It was good. I liked it. But again, you put Buffy in something I'm going to watch, so...
Yeah, true.
Well, from Sarah Michelle Gellar to another strong woman, shall we talk about this week's film, mate?
Oh, nice segue.
I wonder if Sarah Michelle Gellar and Babs have ever been spoken about in the same sentence before. I'm looking forward to this one. This is a patron request, came through from great patron of the show, Paul Leonito, who's been a patron for a while and recommended some great shows. I remembered the Babs movie that he made me watch before. It was What's Up, Doc?
Oh, God, yeah. Is it with Ryan O'Neill?
Yes, it is. That was actually a great movie. I really enjoyed that one. So I was looking forward to this, but I'm not going to lie to you. I knew very little about Yentl. You said last week that you had seen it, but not since you were like a kid.
Yeah, I saw it when it came out, so I would have been about 10.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I had a fairly, strong memory that I'd enjoyed it. Obviously, I would have seen it with my parents. And I do remember that I enjoyed it, which at the age of 10, I was sort of, wow, okay, it must be decent. But I had a recollection that it did a lot better than it did. I think I said last episode, I thought she'd picked up a Best Actress for it. I thought it had been up for a whole bunch of awards. The only thing it won for was the score, I think.
Yeah.
Michelle Legrand, who's amazing, but she was up for the Razzie for actress.
Really?
Amy Irving was up.
Oh, wow, I didn't see that.
Only the third time in history Amy Irving was up for both Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars and also a Razzie.
Yeah, wow.
For the same film. It's only happened 3 times in history.
Yeah. Well, that's so funny, actually. Just the other day, I was hearing about the ERGOT, people who have not only the EGOT, but also a Razzie. And I think there are 2 or 3 of them who have the full 5 spectrum of awards. It also did do quite well at the Globes, though. Might have been what you were thinking of, because it did win Best Musical Comedy, and she got Best Director. Yes,
which no slight on her. I'm not saying it's badly directed, but I am surprised that she won.
First woman director to have won Best Director at the Globes.
Yeah.
So I knew very little about this film going in. In fact, last week when I said that this is what we were watching and you alluded to, like gender bending being big at the time, I was like, oh, is that what this film is? I didn't know. I had no idea that she had written or directed it. I had no idea that it was a musical. I had no idea that it was a period piece. I had a very different idea in my head of what this film was.
It's really her baby. This was, I think, in her entire career, this was her passion project. She worked on the screenplay for about a decade, I think.
Yeah, right.
And
wow.
Even then, the writer of the original short story, Isaac Bashevis Singer, said he didn't like her interpretation or her direction.
You get that on the big jobs. Well, let's get straight into it then. So Yentl is a 1983 American romantic musical drama film directed, co-written, co-produced by and starring, as we said, Barbra Streisand, the Babs. It's based on Isaac Bashevis Singer's short story Yentl the Yeshiva Boy. It stars, as we said, Barbra Streisand, Mandy Patinkin and Amy Irving. And what is it about, Dave?
It's about whether a 30-year-old man can believe that a 40-year-old woman is an 18-year-old boy.
It's so true. It's so funny. Like, you think about some of the big kind of like blockbusters. This has way more suspension of disbelief in it than any of those.
People have a go at Paul Stockard Channing in Grease. She's got nothing on 40-year-old Babs playing a young boy. But yeah, so Barbra Streisand plays Yentl Mandel, who's a woman living in an Ashkenazi Jewish community in Poland around the turn of last century. I think it's 1904. Her father, who she's very, very close to, kind of accepts that she's forward-thinking in her views. Yeah. She's very much wants to study rabbinical teachings and study the Talmud, and obviously something that's forbidden to people of the female persuasion around those times. When her father sadly passes away, she very quickly makes the decision to cut off all her hair and pretend to be a boy and get herself into a yeshiva, a Jewish religious school, and there she meets Inigo Montoya and his fiancée, and that's basically it.
Yeah. So
all through a fairly soft Vaseline filter.
Oh my god, yes. I was going to bring that up. So let's start there. Let's start with the direction and the look of the film. This is a level of Vaseline on the lens that I've not seen since films from like the 30s and 40s. Like it's
very brown too.
It is, yeah.
Everything, there's a real sort of browny beigey haze over the whole thing.
Yeah,
which you get a bit in the 70s, and I don't know if it's a film stock thing. It could well be. But other films from around the sort of late 70s, early 80s, you sort of got a little bit of this hue to them as well. Butch and Sundance springs to mind. There's some sections in that which have that same sort of taupe overlay. Everything's a little bit sepia, and I'm not sure if it's people in the 70s and 80s trying to look like, in this case, 1904, in the case of Butch and Sundance.
I was going to say,
around the same time. It could be that, but it is a very noticeable colour palette.
I mean, the whole look of the film is very noticeable and memorable. Like, the Vaseline on the lens, the very kind of washed out, like you said, taupe kind of hues. I don't mind the look of the film so much because, especially once you accept that it's a period piece, I actually think that Babs has done a pretty incredible job directing this. I think the direction
is fairly solid.
Yeah, especially given that she's in virtually every scene of the film.
Oh, she is. She is this film.
Yeah.
We're probably jumping ahead, but you don't often have a musical where the director is also the star and has given themselves every song.
Yeah.
No one else sings in this, and it's a musical. It's all about Babs, this movie.
Holy crap. I did not even, I watched this movie only about 2-3 hours ago. I did not even realize that nobody else sings a line.
And it's not like a movie where there's like 2 songs. It is a musical. There's 5-6 songs. It starts with, it ends with a song. There's, some of her most famous songs from her entire career in there.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly, I don't know about you, but Deadpool 2 ruined the main song of this for me. As soon as she started with Papa Can You Hear Me, all I could see was Deadpool sitting on a sofa going, has anyone not noticed that Papa Can You Hear Me sounds exactly like Do You Want to Build a Snowman from Frozen?
Yeah. It is shocking. Well, I mean, speaking of the songs, I actually quite liked most of them. I do this every time.
She has a stunning voice, doesn't she?
She really is. Good. I do this every time a musical comes up on this show. I go, I don't really like musicals, and then I'm forced to admit that just about everyone I've watched I've actually quite enjoyed. But
don't be a fool. Musicals are fucking wonderful.
This movie was a really hard sell for me the second it started. I went into it expecting to like it because I know that I actually really like Babs. When I watched What's Up Doc, it was the first thing I'd seen, and I was shocked by how much star power she had.
Oh, she is truly incredible.
She was amazing on screen. So I went in really expecting to like this. Then it starts and it's a period piece, which is already a hard sell for me because I don't like period pieces. And then I realize it's a musical, and that's an even harder sell for me.
And it's about someone wanting to study Talmudic scripture. That's not whoa.
That's right, yeah.
Like all the great films.
By about an hour in, I found myself quite enjoying myself. I don't think I would rewatch this film. I don't even think I would re-listen to the soundtrack, but I found myself quite enjoying what I was watching, and I was surprised. I grew up in a real musical theatre family, and so I heard Papa Can You Hear Me all the fucking time as a kid. I had no clue that it was from this or that it was Barbra Streisand. So
yeah, a lot of this. The plot of this film came back to me surprisingly strongly as I was watching it, given how long it's been since I saw it. And it's not like it's in the zeitgeist or anything. It's, nothing. I probably haven't thought about it since 1983 or whenever it came out. But specific scenes jumped out. The dinner party scenes with the family and Avigdor. The names in this were a struggle. Scenes were coming back to me as I watched it, which I think is what got me through, because the first third of this I found a bit of a slog.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
I think, or I should say, the first sort of 10 minutes I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yep.
Her father is the best character in this fucking movie. I
agree.
Loved him.
I was going to say that.
He died, and I thought, well, the movie's downhill for me. That's 10 minutes in. One thing, and I'm not sure if you felt the same. For a movie that's over 2 hours, it's 130 something.
Yeah, I was surprised. 2 hours, 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. For a movie that's a decent length, wow, we get to the fucking cross-dressing quickly.
Yes.
He dies, and literally the next scene, she's in front of a mirror cutting her hair. I was like, what?
It's probably quicker than it happens in Mulan. And Mulan is only a 90-minute kids movie.
and at least in Mulan, there's some discussion about, well, if I disguised myself as a boy, I'd be able to enter the army. Or there's nothing in this. It literally, you've got you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to learn this stuff. It's only for the men. Here, have a picture book. Ladies like picture books. You get the setup like that, but at no point does she even say, if I was a boy, I'd be allowed to study something go literally walk away from her dad's funeral, pull out the scissors and cut her hair off.
Yeah.
I was like, did we cut something? At least have her musing to herself in front of the mirror before she keeps going, do I dare do this? Do I dare have a song? She could sing a song about, do I dare
was going to say, I'd be happy with a song. Because I was surprised. Not every song in this musical is actually sung out loud. There's at least one song which is sung kind of, I guess, in her head is what I would say. Yeah, give it, even if it's like a 40-second kind of thing in front of the mirror, give us some kind of little ditty there.
This is the biggest decision of her life.
Yeah.
In 1904, I mean, you saw how Mandy Patinkin reacted to the fact that she masqueraded as a male.
Oh, yeah. He was disgusted.
It was, I mean, this is absolutely transgressive stuff.
Yeah.
And she decides like that.
Yeah.
Not even moments, do I dare? That the whole of society will be against me. What if I found out nothing? Yeah. It needed something.
I'm actually with you. I agree that I think the story is definitely dry. Like it is, you know how sometimes you see an adaptation of a short story and you're like, this works as a feature length.
Yeah.
I feel like, it kind of had to be filled in with the songs because the story itself, there's not a lot of meat to it. And
yeah, I agree. And I think it kind of, it sits on the fence. The screenplay doesn't want to commit to being a comedy or to being a full-on drama. And I think it needed to pick a side because it's not funny enough to find all the humour in the situation the way Victor, Victoria or Tootsie would or does. And there is a lot of humour in this. And there's some humorous scenes in it. But not enough. And the humorous scenes where I think it's deliberately trying to be funny are underpinned by just kind of the innate tragedy of her situation where she's in love with this guy and she's married to his fiance that he's in love. No, there is no nice way out of the situation from the moment she sort of agrees to marry Hadass so that Mandy Patinkin's character won't leave.
Yeah, yeah.
You're basically in almost a Shakespearean tragedy from that point on. There's no way out of this where all three of them are going to be happy.
No, it's absolutely true, and I didn't laugh once in this movie. I didn't find any of it funny, and I do find Barbra Streisand endearing. So when she makes a joke or, something, I want to laugh because I recognize that she's good at it.
We should have been laughing when Mandy Patinkin is buck-ass naked trying to get her to go swimming. Yeah. And she's trying to find excuses not to.
Oh, instead, that scene felt extremely tragic.
Oh, it was so fucking cringy. Yeah, I was so uncomfortable.
yeah, same. No, I agree completely. I don't even think you could stretch to call this film a dramedy. Like, I don't think that there's enough comedy there to even label it as that. Like, this is...
She's in love with a guy deeply, and, you get the sense this is the love of her life, and she gives him up because she wants to focus on study and, being able to do the stuff that she's not allowed to do as a woman. And to add insult to injury... The end, which should be uplifting, where she goes, okay, I'll give you up. You and Hadass can be happy together. I'm going to pursue my study. I'm going to jump on this boat. And
it doesn't feel like a happy ending.
To the new world. Because that in 1904 in fucking America, you get off at Ellis Island. It's not like the Jewish community in New York in 1904 and go, female rabbi, no problem. It's not going to be much better.
Well, and she's also given up the love of her life. She's lost him tragic. Now. Yeah, exactly. I agree completely. I'm going to say something possibly controversial here. Let's talk about the cast for a minute. I've already spoken about how much I, in general, enjoy Barbra Streisand, and I do think she's a fantastic singer. Now, I don't think that this is a Razzie-worthy performance by any stretch.
She's not the MVP on the ground.
But this is not her best work, and she is not. No. You're right. She is not the best character. She's not the best actor in this film by any stretch.
No, Mandy Patinkin is the shining star of this entire fucking movie,
and her father, as you mentioned. Yes.
And oh God, I fucking loved him. He was just the best.
I think that this is actually, given that this is like her baby, and she maybe it's because it must be hard. We already spoke about how hard it must be directing a film when not only are you in it, but you are in virtually every scene. And you're singing all the songs.
And you're producing, so it's not like you're answering to a boss either.
Yeah, I don't know if her brain was just doing too many things, but I feel like this is not a great performance from Barbra Streisand.
No. And, I mean, at the end of the day, as a singer, she's a passable actress, and I do think she's good in other things. Funny Girl's a wonderful picture, but I agree with you. This is not her best work, but she's not a Cher. She's not a singer who is also an Academy Award caliber actress in the right project. I don't think she's ever been that. But she's a much better singer than Cher, so swings and roundabouts.
I think the thing about Barbra Streisand, at least from the things I've seen her in, is that what you enjoy about watching her is her personality, I think. You know,
and you don't have that in this.
Well, that's exactly right.
Which brings me back to the thing. If we'd had more comedy in this, we would have seen more of her, and I think it would have worked better.
Because it's akin to, but obviously very different to, say, Jerry Seinfeld. Everybody knows that Jerry Seinfeld is not an actor at all. In fact, he's a terrible actor. But he's still
a very charismatic guy when he's being himself.
Exactly. So he's very enjoyable to watch still. And I feel like that's what this movie and this role in particular is missing, is any of that kind of personality that she's able to bring to a role is just not there in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And when you are literally the crux of the thing, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Tell me, what did you think of Amy Irving as one of the only 3 people in history to be nominated for an Oscar and a Razzie for the same role? What side of the fence are you on?
I mean, I like Amy Irving, just like in general. Honestly, she's kind of just there in
I know.
this.
Thank you. How is she either in Oscar or Razzie contention?
Like
there's not enough there.
She didn't stand out to me as bad or good. She's just, I mean, she's not a huge part of the film.
No.
And she's not exceptionally in either direction.
And part of that, I guess, is probably the character. I mean,
100%.
Women, 1904, small Polish Jewish community, they weren't jumping up and down doing star jumps, but there's not enough in this for me to think either she's great or she's terrible. It's really astonishing to me. Patinkin, I think, should have been up for a supporting actor. I don't know if he was, but he's fantastic. Particularly the latter half when the scenes where she reveals herself to him, literally and figuratively. He just takes over that scene. He is amazing.
Yeah. He was not up at the Oscars. He was up for the Globes, but did not win, obviously. But not up for the Oscars that year.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the music and the songs in the film, given that this is a musical.
Yep. And we have Michel Legrand, one of the all-time greats.
So you, unlike me, I always say that I don't like musicals and then have to admit that I actually did genuinely quite enjoy them. Unlike that, yes, I was going to say, you're a musical theatre head.
I'm a very picky musical head, though, because I fucking hate Hamilton.
Oh, don't get me started on Hamilton. Jesus, Hamilton fucking slaps.
So you say that because of your lack of experience with good musicals.
Well, see,
you have a limited perspective, and as I said, I grew up
with a real musical theatre family. So my sister played Annie in Annie when she was 10. I would have been 8. Wow. That was kind of the start of musicals for my family, and I was dragged to so many of them. Good musicals, bad musicals, professional, local theatre, all kind of stuff. Where are you on this? Like, is this the kind of soundtrack that you would just jam out to?
Nah, fuck no. Papa Can You Hear Me is quite good. None of the songs are a slog as I was watching it. They're all very good, and
which I have to say is actually quite incredible, given that none of them are upbeat or anything. This isn't a musical. This doesn't have like a standout fun song.
No,
all of these songs are quite dirgy and slow.
Papa Can You Hear Me, and it's in any other musical that would be sort of one of the
it would be the
fillers.
One you'd skip. Yeah. Like you think about, how many times as a kid did you watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Skip right the fuck through that, song that Charlie's mother sings.
Oh, you fucking when she's making the laundry suit.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
fucking no one. Yeah, We all hate it.
And yet in this musical, I find it quite amazing, and this is definitely to Barbra Streisand's testament, that every single song is virtually the equivalent of that, and yet they're quite enjoyable while you're watching it.
There is a reason that she is so revered, and it's not her acting. It is the fact that she's on another level with this sort of stuff, as a singer. She is incredible. Yeah. And all of the songs in this film, no matter how boring they are, I was still engaged throughout, just marveling at the quality of her voice.
Yeah,
it's astonishing.
Well, now, I mean, I have to ask now, what's your favorite musical then? Like, what musical do you recommend? The greatest
musical ever created by humankind is Les Miserables. It's
uncontested.
It's on another
that is a fantastic musical with
where most
songs,
musicals have 3 or 4 killer tracks. I mean, most good musicals have 3 or 4 killer tracks and a bunch of other stuff.
Every song is fantastic.
Every song is killer track.
You're absolutely right.
It is
and
head and shoulders above everything else.
And unlike this, Les Miserables has different tempos.
You
listen to Castle in a Cloud. You're absolutely right.
I've seen that probably 6-7 times between film and stage and whatever. I absolutely adore it. I could probably off the cuff give you my top 10, but I kind of feel like this is an episode that we should do.
Yeah, let's. I mean, at very minimum,
shoot below it early.
At bare minimum, a patron bonus or something. But yeah, we should do that at some point.
And we can call it the Paul Prezula Memorial episode because he fucking hates musicals because he's broken on the inside and has no soul. Love you, Paul.
All right. Well, all in all, how are you scoring Yentl?
Oh, look, it's a very solid 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as 6 out of 10.
It's not great. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but I certainly enjoyed. I'm glad I watched it again.
Yeah, honestly
had a reason to do that.
I kind of feel a little bad about giving it a 6 because I'm aware of the fact that I'm now coming to it 40 years later this year. Like, this is literally a 40-year-old film this year, and so it is hard for me to recognize that and put that in perspective. But yeah, for me, I agree. It's a 6. It was super enjoyable. I'm glad that I finally got around to it.
Look, I genuinely think that if I was the age I am now in 1983 or whatever it is, I would still give it a 6 because there are films from then that I think don't get a 6 because they're just better. Chariots of Fire is probably from around about the same era.
Yeah, I think
at the time when I saw that, it was the best thing I'd ever seen. I literally walked out of the cinema with Mum and Dad thinking, oh my God, that's the best movie I have ever seen. It is incredible.
Yeah.
And if I watched it 3-4 years ago, and it's still a fucking 9 out of 10.
Yeah, right.
It's not the fact that it's, 30, 40 years old. So I don't think this gets a pass because of its age.
Yeah.
I think it is what it is. It is a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's justified that there were Razzies nominations, but
no.
But by the same token, I don't think it should have been winning Best Picture or anything. It's solid, and I think it's impressive that Babs did everything from producing to directing to acting to singing to fucking writing everything. Yeah. That is impressive, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thank you very much, Paul, for making us watch this. This was fun.
Yeah.
What are we getting to next week, mate?
Are we up to? We're getting bloody close to required viewing report card time, mate. Is that next week or is that the week after?
I reckon we are. I reckon it's report card time. Have you finished your binge yet? Have you watched all 5 series that I recommended?
I think I've got one that I still need to get to. The others I've done at least 3 eps on.
We are polar opposites then, because I've watched 1. So I've got 4 to burn through in the next 7 odd days. But I reckon I can do it.
They're good.
I'm hoping to take some days off.
They're good.
Work
Trust me,
next
it's
week,
worth your time.
Yeah, I hear they're all right shows. So, all right. Well, that'll be next week. And then the week after, we get some Shyamalan going with Knock at the Cabin. I'm keen as for that.
Rip that one in you, arsehole.
No, I'm expecting really good things. I'm the guy who liked Old, so...
You're just something wrong with you, dude. Tell me you like Glass. Go on.
No, I'm not singing that low. All right. Well, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at wewatchedathing.com or wewatchedathing@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all under the handle at wewatchedathing. If you want to help support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/wewatchedathing. And we're about to record a little cheeky bonus ep for over there now. And we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, go watch Yentl. Maybe.